This is Etsway from ShiGig coming at you. Today we've got a meta talk video. We're talking about why Shadow Paladin's Revenge from Dragon deck is such a topping deck and such a good deck. Why it's considered the meta deck. So basically what makes a meta deck is the pressure the deck creates. Meaning, like, does it force your opponent to think? Is it threatening to your opponent? Is your opponent worried about it? And then another one is consistency, advantage. Those are pretty much the three major things to make a deck a meta deck, which makes it really good. So as for Shadow Paladins itself, it's always been a consistent deck. That's why it's always been a meta deck, because it's been consistent. And let's see, when it came out, season 1 of the anime, it's been consistent due to the fact that you can consistently get cross-sided. You can consistently get all the cards you need in Soul for whatever version you're playing. So it was really good, even though the boss card wasn't that great. It was still really consistent and single knockout system, which was you lose once, you're out, stuff like that. So it's like a one game, not a match. Alright, so start for pressure. The only card in this deck that creates a lot of pressure is Revenge Raging Form Dragon. If you don't know his effect, it's Limit Break 4. Choose 3 of your regards with Revenger in its card name, and retire them. At the end of your battle, this unit attacked. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 1 Revenger Raging Form Dragon from your hand, write it as stand, and choose your Vanguard, and that unit gets power plus 10,000 to end of turn. And then it has another skill, Counterblast 1. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gets power plus 3,000 to end of that battle. And then basic lore. So great thing about this is it's a restanding Vanguard. Restanding Vanguards are always good. They're very good in any single meta. Hence the Dote and Dawn the Strive Dragon. This deck, it's more of a toolbox deck, pretty much. So basically, he's the one who puts some more of a pressure on your opponent, because the opponent has to think, like, it's kind of like Dote, where with Dote you have to figure out, do they have a copy of Dote in their hand, so if you let the attack through. But this one, if the attack hits or misses, it doesn't matter, he'll restand. So your opponent has to think, does he have Raging Form? Should I calculate that card too? So yeah, and you eat 3 units, so it's not too hard, because you can easily fill it up with the tools you have in your deck. And it helps you a lot against Eradicators, like Joker and any other deck that deals with the rear guards. Because of the fact that even Meg Colony, because if they stop your units from standing, you just eat them. And then Narukami and Kagura have problems with it, because you'll eat your own units, so they won't have that much retirement targets for Narukami, because Narukami would get pluses off them. And Link Joker has trouble with it because of the fact if they haven't locked their units, you can just still eat your units and restand, and you can eat your units before they even start locking your units, so that they can't really lock anything, and you'll be fine. And it's easy to refill your field up with really easy combos. Other than that, it's actually really good to go Break Rate over Break Rate. So if you don't know Illusionary Revenge Mode defend the Break Rate of the deck's effect, it's Limit Break 4. Counterblast 1, when a Shadow Paladin rides this unit, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose your Vanguard until end of turn. That unit gets power plus 10,000. And search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 or less Shadow Paladin, call it the rear guard. Shuffle your deck, and that unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. And then it has, when it attacks the Vanguard, it gets power plus 2,000. It helps you get cross rides, helps you get magical numbers. And then it's got Lord Basic Seal. So pretty much, this deck is good, because even if you don't Break Ride Raging Form, you can go Break Ride Break Over, and you're still getting the solid plus there. Because you get a free unit, which you can go combos off that unit, and you also get power plus 5,000 to that unit. So you're automatically putting pressure there. So it's really good. And so you pretty much, if you Break Ride with Raging Form, you pretty much fill up the cost you would have to pay him. So you save your hand, so that creates hand advantage there. And also you can combo it with cards like Tardu. Tardu allow you to call, should be right here, should be Dorant. Yep. Should allow you to call Dorant and Darkbond Trumpeter. So basically, if say you didn't have that many cards in your hand, or you wanted to save your hand, so what you would do is go Break Ride, Counterblast 1, call it Tardu, and you had like 3 spots open. So you go Taru gains plus 5,000. Counterblast 2 to call Darkbond Trumpeter. Counterblast 1 call Draw Trigger instead. I've seen a lot of people who use Claudis, another extra copy of Claudis in their deck, but I don't, because I would rather have 2 copies of Darkbond Trumpeter, because sometimes I do damage deck it, and I do need it later, if I do. So I just call it Draw Trigger, and Claudis you have to call it Arrest, but by the time you break rating, so that doesn't really matter about that boost too much. So pretty much with that's pretty much one of the biggest combos. Or say if you already have a unit there and you don't need to use Darkbond, you can call it Tardu. Not Tardu, but Doran. Still call Tardu, go Doran, and then enter and you sack these, and then you'll intercept with him. Call Blast Dark, and you get pretty much pay Blast Dark's effect for 1 counterblast. Or you can Break Ride. Let's say you already had a full field. Break Ride, Revenge Raging Form Dragon. Let's go with this. You had a full field, you can go Break Ride. You had this already, so you Break Ride, you call Blast Dark, you unflip, and then you counterblast 2. So you can pretty much just for that combo there, which would usually be 3 counterblasts, you counterblast only 2 for, and you gotta retire your opponent's unit. So you got rid of an Interceptor, and then you have a 15k guard column here. So you would go attack for that'll be 10. Actually, for this one, it'll be 15, but say it was a 7k booster. Let me grab one. So it's a little bit easier for you. So it'll be like 16 here, 10k guard for your opponent. Attack with him. Here, but if you ever have to use his effect, it's fine. You can actually have another Dorant there. So if you attacked with another Dorant, if you had another Dorant behind him or another 7k, you go with that and you can counterblast 1 for his effect, so you gain 3,000. So if you break rate that turn, he's already attacking for 21 by himself, so it's 27, wait, 28, and then plus 3,000 from his counterblast 1, that'll be 31,000. So right there you're putting pressure on your opponent, forcing him to put more guard if he doesn't give you a perfect guard. And then you eat your units. Oh, that's cool. Perfectly, just looked at the top of the card. Ride, another Revenge Raging Form Dragon. You get that way. You get 2 drive trigger checks. So you pretty much make up the cards you did. Eat, but you can also easily call them. So it's pretty much you gain advantage here without minusing yourself too much for that break right turn. And then you attack with him. So any triggers you get, you're putting on here. So let's say you get like 2 triggers because you get 1 each trigger, 1 each drive check, twin drive. So you would attack here. So that'll be 24 for him. So with him, that'll be 31 already, so you already pressure your opponent with huge attack power. And you also made it so Link Joker can only lock these 2 units, and you have enough room to go Raging Form again. And if you don't go Raging Form, or like if you don't go Break Rate, you can easily just go Raging Form, restand, and attack. And you can easily say, if you did have a Dorn again, you can counterblast 1, so that'll be 21 still. So that'll still be a lot of pressure for your opponent to deal with. So pretty much that's what creates pressure. And then again, consistency, being able to call Blaster Blade, Dorant, having Claudis to search for your Blaster Dark, so you can unflip and get in free unit. Having Darkbound Trumpeter to get grade 0, so you can get more units for free, saving your hand. And again, Tardu. So in terms of pressure, out of 5, I would rank this deck a 3 because pretty much he's really your main pressure card. And then as for consistency, I would rank this a 5 because it's pretty consistent. I mean, if you don't have if you damage check all these, you're pretty much fine because you can call a 10k attacker, you have 12k attackers. If you have units locked, call a 12k attacker, got a 17k column with break rate skill. So pretty much it's just really good deck, really good consistent. So it's a 3 for pressure, 5 for consistency. And as for advantage, I would give it a 4 because of the fact that you can save your hand, you can retire your opponent's units, create a huge field, fill up your field without any problems. And so yeah, that's why it's such a good deck, because it's so consistent. Shadow Pounds have always been a really consistent deck. And then it's got a lot of pressure with Raging Form, so it's really good. Restanding Vanguard, and its effect, it may look like a minus, but it's not all the time, because you're probably going to go Raging Form like once, and if you haven't killed them, then you may go twice. and it won't be too bad because it's not that hard to really get the cost for him to do, because he's no counterblast. You can easily get free units on the field, so you don't have to eat up your hand for paying the cost, and you can easily create par with the deck. So it's a really good deck. That's why it tops. So that'll be Zetsui signing out. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. Have a good day.